Hey, family millionaires. Welcome back to Millionaire Success Story. Today's guest is a finance major minoring in accounting. She attends St. John University and currently is working as an accounting intern. She studied abroad in Paris, Italy, and Ireland. And a fun fact about her, another fun fact, is that she models hair products as a side gig. Please welcome Ashley. Hi, Ashley.
Okay, is it working?
Yes. Hi.
Okay, sweet. Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. Maybe I should blur the background. This looks a little busy. Okay, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for joining. Wait, it keeps like
Oops. Okay,
the
I think I gotta come a little closer.
we're gonna start off by playing a game, and the game is
Ooh.
called How to Get a Millionaire. And and this game is meant to be nosy and ask personal questions, but nothing too
Oh
crazy.
gosh.
And then
I'm scared.
would you rather this or that? Who was the best? Like fill in the blank, and then never have I ever. And so every now and then I may ask you to elaborate, but nothing too much. Um,
All right.
one would you like? Is would you rather this or that? Never have I ever, or who is the best?
Would you rather?
Would you rather? Okay.
Yeah,
And if you were a part of a movie production, would you rather be on camera as an extra or behind the camera working production?
behind the camera for sure.
Why?
Okay, well, at the moment I actually work as a model. Like I do a lot of hair commercials and stuff.
Wow.
But one thing I've noticed is that there's so much work that goes behind the camera, and that's something that I've been really trying to get into, like in creative direction and stuff.
Wow.
So I think that when you're behind the camera, you have a lot more freedom in what you can do in your work, whereas when you're in front of the camera, everything is scripted for you. Everything is like you're being told what to do, everything, and it's like I enjoy having a little bit more control in how things are being perceived, you know?
Wow.
So
Yeah, that's so cool that you're a model now, but like getting that behind the scenes type energy to
yeah, it's
yeah,
definitely like
that's
I want to
cool.
shift. I don't want to be in front of the camera anymore. I want to have control in like
Wow.
how things are looking,
Yeah.
set and models and fashion design. Being able to control that is really fun. I like that.
Yeah, that's so cool. Okay, would you rather sing a song at a karaoke bar or create a viral dance on TikTok?
Sing a song at a karaoke. I think viral dance on TikTok, right? I think that would make
You
the most
a dancer?
sense. Yeah.
Are you a
Like,
dancer?
no,
No?
no,
Oh.
I'm not a dancer or a singer. So
Oh, okay.
I feel like I'd be a lot easier to dance than sing.
Hmm.
Because dance you can learn. Sometimes you have to be born with a singing voice, and I unfortunately was not born with that. So
Okay, would you rather live on a beach or in the mountains?
beach.
Beach.
Yeah, I don't like the cold. So
Me neither. Me neither.
and it's
Man.
springtime now. It's like 50 degrees, so it's not too bad. But
Oh,
like
that's
January, February, I was like crying. I couldn't.
yeah. It's still 30 degrees here and I'm freezing like
I'm so sorry. Like
yeah, it's okay.
wearing those big puffer jackets every single day, like I can't. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. It's
Yeah.
so
I didn't learn how to get some thermers and put on some socks, some thick socks and stuff like that. But yeah.
yeah.
Would you rather go back in time to fix your biggest mistake or look into the future to find out where you end up?
Oh, that's deep. Okay. Um, because the thing is, I have to think about what my biggest mistake is too, and I don't even know what my biggest mistake of all time was, and what would I fix.
Mhm.
Um, hmm. I think biggest mistake for sure.
Biggest
Yeah,
mistake.
because I feel like if I'm looking into the future, it's gonna give me too much confidence. Like I need
Yeah.
every day I like to live in a little bit of uncertainty because that's like what makes me determined. I go to school
Oh,
because it's like, oh, I'm not sure. Like if I don't go to school today, maybe I'm gonna miss something important. So if I know for certain, like, oh, everything's gonna turn out fine, I'm not gonna be motivated to do anything anymore, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I never thought about it like that, but that makes a lot of sense. Okay, would you rather have someone you know be able to read your thoughts or for everyone you know to have access to your internet history?
I guess what oh my gosh. I think it would have to be one person be able to read my thoughts. Yeah.
Read your thoughts.
Yeah.
Mm, That yeah, I agree. Um, would you rather buy 10 things you don't need every time you go shopping or forget the one thing that you need when you go to the store?
I feel like the latter happens to me anyways, so I always forget something. So
Mhm. Yeah. Would you rather have a pause or a rewind button in your life?
okay, so like if there's a rewind button, does that mean I change the actions I did beforehand or like
Uh, no. So it's either
okay.
you pause the moment or you go back to see like what the person said or what your actions were to analyze it, something like that.
Pause or rewind? I feel like a pause button because sometimes you just need to pause and recollect yourself when
Yeah,
things happen. Yeah.
yeah, I agree. Okay, so that's the end of How to Get a Millionaire. I'm speaking it into existence that we all can like be millionaires and stuff like that. I just love the fact that
Yeah.
you played the game with us. Thank you so much for playing. And so
Thank you.
now we can get into the actual questions. So the first question can be a little bit complex, but it's a very simple question. And it's how are you? Like really, like how I know I already asked you that, but like how are you
Hmm.
really
I mean, I'm doing okay. I'm hanging in there, you know?
doing?
I feel like I'm definitely feeling a little overworked. It's like the end of the semester, so I'm gonna start finals soon, and it's just like a little stressful, but I think, I'm doing fine, you know?
That's amazing. Speaking of being in school and continuing to hang in there, who inspires or inspired you to continue your life journey? It could be like a mentor, artist, an actor, maybe a song, maybe a movie, or just anything that motivates you to keep going.
Mm. That's a really good question. I think that what motivates me is actually my youngest brothers, because I definitely want to be an example to them. Like, you know, they copy whatever I do. Like if I pick up new lingo, they're gonna end up saying the same word like stuff, and it's just like I need to be something that they can copy or something that they can look up to. So yeah.
Yes, I love that. Okay, where do you see your life in the next 5 years?
Oh, honestly, like I keep planning for like the next 3 months. Like 5 years is kind of crazy, but
Okay, let's
um,
do the next 3 months.
next 3 months, I see myself finishing up an internship,
Hmm.
um, starting my final semester of school.
You're a senior?
Yeah, I'm graduating a semester early, so
Wow.
it's like I definitely see myself, getting ready. Oh, and applying to entry level jobs. That's what I definitely see myself doing in 3 months. So
Mhm.
that's
That's
definitely going to be a new chapter for me because it's like, what am I going to be doing for the rest of my life from here? You know?
yeah. For the people watching, Ashley and I met in Belgium through the Gilman Scholarship. Um, you studied abroad in a couple different places. So could you explain like your study abroad experiences? Because I was only in Paris for the whole semester, but you were in like 3 or 4 different locations every month. So
Yeah.
explain that experience a little bit.
So I was in the Western Europe semester. So the semester entailed that I would be studying for 1 month and a half in Italy, 1 month and a half in Ireland, and my final month and a half would be in Paris. So I got to visit all three campuses. It was a really great experience. And in each country, I took one class. And then I took like two remote classes. So that's how it ended up working out.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
that's
it was a really great
amazing.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard like that program. I don't even think we have that option at my school. So that's good for like people to know different schools have different options when it comes to like studying abroad. And it's not just one lane that you can go in, but you can do like multiple things. So that's really
Right.
um so what made you choose to study abroad and were you nervous to take that big step to live abroad in a different country, new environment, not having like family and stuff around? Like were you nervous for that? And what
Okay. So to answer your first question,
Mhm.
um, what made me want to study abroad is simply because I needed a break from New York. Like New York is kind of crazy sometimes, and it's just like I also have family in Italy, so I definitely wanted to visit my family that I have there.
Mhm.
Um, and I felt like also I was never going to get that opportunity ever again. Again, like the three country program, a lot of schools don't have that. And a
Yeah.
lot of people will not have like the opportunity of their lifetimes to like stay a month and a half in
Mhm.
Paris or in Italy or in Ireland. It's kind of like a lot of people, they go straight into the workforce and then maybe they have a vacation for a week, but that's it's like a once in a lifetime experience. Um, and as for what if I was scared, no, I wasn't really scared because I'm a pretty independent person. Like I can figure myself out. I have Google Maps. I know my resources and stuff. I think the scariest part was more about being around new people and not being sure if I was going to have friends or not. So it definitely, and I feel like that was both a con and a pro of studying abroad because I like the program that I was in was really, really small. So I didn't have a lot of friends, but it also forced me to learn how to make friends that were from like diverse cultures or didn't speak the same language. It taught me how to be more like confident and just more assertive. So yeah.
Yeah. I can ditto on that because I I am a pretty independent person, but when it comes to meeting new people, I'm a little bit nervous about that and not sure like if my generosity will be extended from the other person by simply giving me a smile or a hello or like acknowledging that I'm there speaking. But I was
Right.
glad like when we went to Belgium, like I feel like the entire group was just there and present,
Yeah.
able to meet people. That was amazing. That was
Yeah,
amazing.
that was an awesome group that we went with. I feel like I I came out with a lot of friends from that group and it was just like this is really nice. And it felt I didn't have that same experience with my personal group from my school, but it
Neither
was
did
just
I. Yeah, neither did I.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it definitely taught me like, okay, maybe I'm not the problem. Like it's just
Yeah.
I need to learn how to be a little bit more assertive.
Yeah. So since you did study in other countries, were the teaching methods different in like each location? So when you were in Italy or when you were in Paris, I know for Paris, like I studied the whole semester in Paris. So I kind of know a little bit of teaching methods, but in Italy and in Ireland, was it different from the way they studied in Paris?
Hmm. Okay, so Ireland, my teacher was Irish American actually.
Hmm.
So they are from America, but they only have ever taught in Ireland. And they were very, very chill
Hmm.
in comparison to other teachers that I've had. They weren't very strict about you need to be on class like at this time. And they were very flexible with their scheduling in comparison to any other teacher I've ever had.
Hmm.
Um, in Italy, I feel like they were also pretty flexible, but they also were like a lot more rigorous with academic work.
Hmm.
Um, so I would be assigned like to do presentations and essays every single week. And I think that makes sense simply because of the nature of the program, because you're taking one class in a month and a half, so everything is going to be compressed. So it kind of makes sense why they worked me so much more. But in comparison to Ireland, it wasn't as much. So yeah. Um,
So
in
which one would you
Paris,
choose out of the three locations, specifically for education?
Ireland, because I don't think I'm the kind of girl that responds well to rigorous like academic work. I'm the kind of girl that needs like flexibility. And I also like being able to pursue my own thing. So the class that I specifically took in Ireland was Western migration.
Mm.
And like he didn't need me. Like I would say, hey, instead of doing an essay, can I do like a volunteer activity instead that has something to do with it? So I would work with migrants teaching English
Oh
or
wow.
just like I would also volunteer at the animal shelter, and I would do that instead of an essay, for example. So
Mm,
it offered that flexibility where I'm still doing something that's on task, but it's not necessarily like an essay that takes me like 3 hours to do, you know?
yeah, that's cool. So you would choose Paris or Italy?
Hmm.
Just for
In
the
terms of
education.
academics,
Yeah, just for academics.
I think it's going to be a little like difficult to say because it was two completely different classes. I took international business in Italy and then I took metaphysics, like philosophy in Paris. So naturally, I'm just not going to like philosophy. So
Okay. I guess I'm saying like in the sense of course loads and how long you were in class. Because I know when I was in Paris, I was in class for 3 hours per period. And I don't know if
oh,
that's the
yeah.
same in Italy and Ireland, but I'm like that was a lot for me to be in class for 3 hours every single class. And I have 4 classes a day. Like I was in class for a long time.
Oh
So
my gosh, 4 classes a day?
yeah.
I
Like
have one class a day. Like,
yeah, see it's different because I was actually in my classes like struggling because I was in there for 3 hours every single class. So yeah, I guess yeah, that is a little different. But if it wasn't for academics, which country would you choose to explore a little bit more or stay in or you know?
Ireland and Italy for sure. I feel like, I don't know, those were the countries that I felt most comfortable in because Ireland, they speak English, so that definitely helps. I'm not nervous when I'm trying to order at the restaurant, you know.
Mhm.
And Italy, because of its proximity to Spanish, I do know a little bit of Italian, so
Mm,
it also makes me feel a lot more comfortable. I did have the opportunity to like venture into northern Italy and visit a bunch of cities there, so I definitely want to come back and visit the south. So yeah.
nice. Okay, so now we're going to get into the financial literacy questions. So, like more of money management questions.
Mhm.
So, when it comes to spending money, do you believe you know the difference between wants and needs from items like clothes, jewelry, etc.? And then, especially like being in European markets and like knowing you won't be there forever, like seizing the opportunity. How was your like money management over in Europe, studying abroad, and then you can even relate it back to being in New York too, because sometimes you just go in a store and you see something that you like and you want to get it.
All right.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was not the best.
Okay.
I think that there was definitely a lot of learning lessons that I got from that trip because again, it was like that idea of like, oh, I'm only gonna have this experience once.
Yeah.
So it was like, I might as well do it, I'm not gonna be able to do it again.
Yeah.
Um, I think that the worst thing that I've ever done was probably okay. I went on this trip to the Canary Islands, and the initial plan was to stay in a hostel.
Mhm.
And last minute, I decided, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to go to like a regular hotel and I'm going to have like my nice cushion beds. And that was like $300.
Wow.
So, and it was just like, you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah. Wow.
But
The
yeah.
hostel, like, I stayed in two different hostels. The one in Barcelona was really, really nice. And I didn't, the only thing is the other people. It's like, I don't like people. Well, I know they're probably not watching me sleep, but I'm just saying it feels like people are watching me sleep. And like, that's the only thing for the hostels. Like, but it's similar to having a community bathroom, but at the same time, like I think the people that I was with, they weren't dirty. So like I just, minded my business and was in a hostel and stuff like that. But I kind of will understand if you wanted to get a hotel room and be by yourself. Like I would have done the same thing because yeah, being in a
Oh
hostel.
yeah, no. I'm very bougie about it. I just don't like the idea of like my clothes being where somebody else's clothes were. Like I just need my own space. I need to sleep in my own bed, like a nice queen size bed. It's just at least for like maybe 1 or 2 nights. Just be peaceful.
Yeah,
So
yeah. That sounds nice actually. Okay. Do you feel like you were prepared going into college, specifically in financial literacy after high school? And if so, what equipped you with that knowledge?
okay, did I feel like hmm I feel like I was equipped, but I could have been better equipped especially when it comes to like things like credit cards, for example.
Mm. Okay.
Um, I wish I had known one that, like I feel like a lot of people are scared of credit card, like they're scared of debt. They're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to use my credit card, or like it's super dangerous,
Mhm.
but they don't talk about how much benefits it has.
Yeah.
Um, Especially when I studied abroad, like 90% of what I pay for in like hotels or trains or like stuff like that, I paid in credit card points. Like I had $900 worth of credit card points.
Wow.
So, like, I feel like if I had gone into college knowing that, like,
Mhm.
okay, only spend what you have in credit cards
Mhm.
and then like just pay off your credit card immediately after,
Mhm.
I would have saved up so much more money
Mhm.
and I would have had an amazing credit score?
Mhm. Yeah.
So I feel like that's one of the things that you should start early, and I didn't know that. I only had my debit card when I entered college. So
Wow. Do you mind sharing how you got like um, the credit points, like what bank that you're with the credit points, like building up the points?
yeah, so I have the Chase Sapphire credit card, and
Okay.
it's a travel card actually. So there was a promotion where if you spent like $3,000, you can get like $900 worth of points. So what I essentially did is like when my parents would ever go like grocery shopping or whatever, I would tell them, hey, use my credit card and then you pay me back. So that
Mm.
way I would fulfill the requirement to spend $3,000
Yeah.
without actually spending $3,000?
Wow. Yeah.
So, or like if my friends needed to buy something, or like if we were going to a restaurant, I
Mhm.
would make sure put it on my card. You guys Venmo me the money back. That way, I would technically fulfill the requirement without, wasting too much of my own money.
Mhm.
So that's how I ended up having that many points by the time I got to study abroad and, save a little bit of my money when I was doing my side trips and whatever.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. So Chase Sapphire travel card, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Got it down. So my next question is, how have you afforded to study abroad? So was it through scholarships? Was it through personal fin? I know you mentioned the credit card while you were there, but to actually
Mhm.
go abroad, how have you afforded to, study abroad?
Most of it was scholarships. I have a lot of money in scholarships, just through like my regular academics, but also the Gilman scholarship that we both got.
Mhm.
Um, and then I did take out a couple, like just the FAFSA loans. I took out like maybe $3,000,
Mhm.
and then that just covered my entire tuition. But then I also needed money for just, um, you know,
Spending and
living,
yeah,
eating.
yeah.
So I also worked during the summer.
Did you budget while you were abroad?
I tried to,
Okay.
but then again, like as I was saying, like, oh, this is the only time I'm gonna be here. I have to like, buy it now. So I definitely had a couple impulse buys.
Hmm.
Um, Especially when I was like buying fashion, it was just like they don't have a store in the US. I need to buy it here, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. So now we're gonna head over into like the mind over matter segment. And so tell me about a time where your heart changed the dynamic of a situation. Because we don't only make decisions with our heads, so we don't only use logic, but we add a little bit of compassion to like our final choice. So I want to know, when have you implemented mind over matter in your life? And yeah.
Hmm. I think in terms of financial decisions, again, I have two younger brothers. So sometimes as the eldest sister, it's my responsibility to take care of them. And sometimes I will just maybe take a day off from work or come to work a little bit later. And again, like subsequently, I'm losing a little bit of income, but it's more of this is my responsibility to my family. And that comes before, $15 an hour?
Yeah, nice. I love the fact that you are a good big sister and have and like care about the well-being of your brothers. Like that speaks volume to your character and to the person that you are. So I really I love that. That's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome. You're welcome. So my final question is, What advice would you give another student or young adult who is afraid to taking the first step at approaching life in general? Like, it doesn't have to be specific to anything, but just approaching life on a broader level, knowing that there's more to their current situation, there's more to what may seem like they can't do or not, or they are not equipped to fulfill big things in life. So, what advice would you give to a young adult or a student?
Honestly, you don't need to have it all figured out.
Mm,
When I started, I was a bio major
mm.
and I switched my major to undecided. And then I started working in fashion and public relations.
I was about to say, aren't you a fashion major now?
No, I'm not a fashion
Oh,
major.
oh, I'm like, okay, okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. And then from fashion, I ended up working in accounting and finance.
Mhm,
So this is like a three-time career change for
mhm,
me.
mhm.
Um, you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to try, I think. You just need to put your best foot forward and then you need to figure it out on the way because
Yeah,
I'm still figuring it out on the way. I still don't know where I'm going to end up. You ask me, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I don't know where I see myself in 3 months. But the thing is, at least I know what the next like week is going to
yeah,
have for me, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
So, um, if you're scared, just, I don't know, throw anything at a wall and just see what sticks.
yes,
So,
yes. I can agree with that because literally people think that I do things like this and I have it all figured out. But no, like as I'm moving, I'm figuring it out along the way. I don't just have a
exactly.
whole plan of what I'm gonna do and how I'm gonna do it and blah blah blah. But no, like taking the first step, I feel like my path is being um the light is shining on my path as I'm moving. Like I'm not just being stagnated and sitting around trying to figure it out. I'm actually like putting steps forward to figuring it out. Um,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
even if you don't know what you're doing, just put yourself in the best position to the point where you do figure it out, you're not unprepared. So it was like when I was a bio major, it was like, okay, let me do volunteer work on the side. Let me do a little internship on the side, even if it doesn't necessarily correlate with what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mhm.
Just do anything, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yes. That's really great advice. That's really, really great advice. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad that we had this conversation. I'm so glad that we were able to stay in touch. Um,
Yeah.
I'm still thinking about going to Disneyland in Paris. Like for me, like that was literally the highlight of my trip, to be honest. Like
Even if it was like raining outside, it was so much fun.
yes, like it was a lot of fun. And like that was the end of my trip. My birthday's in December. That was the end of the trip. And that was literally like the highlight of my trip, going to Disneyland. Like that
Oh.
was just so much fun. And I still think about it. I look back at the pictures and I'm like, oh, like it was just amazing. But yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate you doing this with me.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm glad that I got to speak a little bit, and it definitely helped me process the past couple years. What do I want? What do I wish I had known? 3 years ago. That's it's really nice.